Oh, yeah. Is it Monday already? Have we made it through? Wait, no, it's the beginning of a week. Why is it Monday? Why is it 5 o'clock? What's going on, Chad? Why are we live right now? What's going on? What is this? Oh, Padme Amidala coming back from the dead? Wait, what? Hayden Christensen, Ewan McGregor, Natalie Portman all coming back to Star Wars? What? Ahsoka season 2 might be the greatest season we've ever seen ever? Is this real? Is this real, chat? We got to talk about this is what we're talking about today, right? Yeah? Okay. Yes, chat? Okay. Let's dive into it. Let's dive into all of it. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing on this fine Monday afternoon or evening, whatever you want to call it? It's I guess across the world, so it's whatever time of day it is for you. What's up, everybody? How's everybody doing on this fine Monday afternoon? Okay, so yes, Natalie Portman, it is a rumor for now, a rumor. Everything we're going to be talking about today is just a rumor for the most part. So from Hayden Christensen to Ewan McGregor to Ariana Greenblatt to Natalie Portman, all coming back to their iconic roles in Star Wars. It's all just a rumor. We're going to go over whether I think it's true or not, whether the source it's coming from is good or not. We're going to talk about all of it. We're going to predict what's going down in this Ahsoka Season 2. We also have Andor Season 2 news. We have Skeleton Crew news. I know it just ended last week, but we still have news from that. We also have Mandalorian and Grogu news, which is the next Star Wars movie coming out in just under a year and a half. We got a lot to get into and not a lot of time. So without further ado, let's say hi to everybody in the chat, shall we? Let's do this. Chris, what is up? Tafari Tano, how we doing? Dustin Kennedy in the house. Nathan, how we doing? Aaron, what is up? Chris, what is up? Brandon Baker in the house. Starship 66, how we doing? Ian, what is up? Mind of Lucas, how we doing? Hippie Blood, what is up? Great name. 50 Thunder, how we doing? I Haja in the building. Fearless, what is up? Trent, how we doing? 730 Evie, how we doing? Joe, what is up? Mike, great name, by the way. Adam, what is up? If I missed you, you know the deal. Just yell at me in the chat. Let's give everybody a nice little...
Hello there.
General Kenobi.
Okay, first things first, we have a $1 super sticker from Darth Plagueis Lives. I appreciate that, Darth Plagueis. I really, really do. It's just this face. So I appreciate that, and that was my reaction as well. I woke up this morning to the news that, and again, it's just a rumor, Natalie Portman is in talks to come back to play Padme Amidala in Ahsoka Season 2. So let's talk about it, chat. Let's just talk about it. Is this possible? Obviously, she's dead by the time this show takes place because Ahsoka takes place in the Mandoverse era, which is after the original trilogy, before the sequel trilogy, in this time period where Mando, Book of Boba Fett, Skeleton Crew, and Ahsoka take place. So is Padme Amidala alive at this time? No. But there is this thing called a flashback that could be the possibility of seeing Padme Amidala. We saw Anakin Skywalker in Ahsoka Season 1 through the World Between Worlds and via some sort of flashback, I guess. He was a Force Ghost at the end of the series. But there is one crazy theory that caught my eye online, and that was, is it possible? You know what? I'm going to leave you guys on cliffhanger there. Is it possible for something I'll tell you in a little bit? That's the cliffhanger of the stream today. Is it possible? We'll get to it, okay? How's that? How's that for a cliffhanger? Episode 7 of Skeleton Crew cliffhanger. How's that? You don't get to know until I tell you. Okay, well, let's talk about this news. Where does it come from? Where does it go? Where does it come from? Cotton Eye Joe. Okay, let's start off with this Bespin Bulletin article. When did this begin? When did all this crazy prequel characters coming back in Ahsoka Season 2 begin? Well, that was last week. During the hype and excitement for Skeleton Crew, we got this news that Ariana Greenblatt, Hayden Christensen, and Ewan McGregor are reprising their roles in Ahsoka Season 2, which means Clone Wars flashbacks. We talked about it very, very briefly because we were in the mix with Skeleton Crew. We were talking about speculating for the finale. We were really hyped up on Skeleton Crew. We really weren't talking about this news at all. We were too in the Skeleton Crew zone. So we didn't really want to talk Ahsoka Season 2 when Skeleton Crew was going on. So we kind of speculated about a Mortis possible flashback to seeing Mortis and how that could work. But let's talk about it again. So we got to rewind back to last week when this news began. Not Natalie Portman, but Hayden, Ewan, and Ariana. Let's talk about this. So this article comes from Bespin Bulletin from January 13th. Today's January 20th. So a week ago, we got this news. Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen, and Ariana Greenblatt are rumored to star in Star Wars Ahsoka Season 2. Oh, you guys can't see that now, can you? That's better. Okay. So let's talk about it. The second season of Disney Plus's series Ahsoka is due to begin shooting this April. So it hasn't even begun shooting. This is all just in the talks, in the works right now. It doesn't begin filming until April, which is when Andor Season 2 begins and when Star Wars Celebration happens. Pretty interesting. But, as I previously exclusively reported, and instead of filming in the United States, this time around the series will be shooting in the United Kingdom, or the UK. Recently, I exclusively revealed that Ahsoka Season 2 will be shooting at Longcross Studios and is operated under the code name Firebird. Oh, I did not know that. Firebird? Here's the deal. Usually, when these shows have code names like this, the code name has some sort of meaning. I'm not really sure what Ahsoka Season 1's code name was. Somebody in the chat knows, please tell me. But Firebird, what the hell oh, maybe the Mortis Gods? Correct me if I'm wrong. In the Mortis arc, don't we see the dark side of the Force, the sun, and the light side of the Force, the daughter, turn into some sort of like bird-like thing? Remember they pick up Ahsoka and Obi-Wan with their little claws? Yeah? Am I just making this up in my head, or did that actually happen? Yeah? That happened? So maybe that's what that's referring to. Maybe it's just completely random. I don't know. Maybe it's referring to... I have no idea. That's my only guess, is the dark side of the Force, the sun, as that sort of firebird that we saw in the Mortis arc. Right? Right? Okay, good. I'm not going crazy. I'm not going crazy. That's good to hear. All right. Oh, wait, what the hell? I'll go back. Last week, it was exclusively reported by Jeff Snyder and that Rory McCann had been cast as Baylan Skoll. We talked about that quite a bit because Baylan Skoll, Ray Stevenson, sadly passed away. He gave us this incredible performance as Baylan Skoll in Ahsoka Season 1, and the character was left on a cliffhanger, standing on the Mortis Gods, looking out into the distance at a glimmering light on top of a mountain that we assume to be Abeloth. But Baylan Skoll's character must go on, and Ray Stevenson is sadly not here to do so. So Rory McCann, the guy who plays the Hound, not the Mountain, the Hound in Game of Thrones, will be playing Baylan Skoll, at least so is reported. Taking over the role after the sudden and unfortunate passing of Ray Stevenson in 2023. I corroborated the report. Easy for me to say. And shortly after the trades, also confirmed that the news on Skoll was being recast. As readers will know, I always cover Snyder's reports as he is a very reliable news source, and I only cover reports from outlets and individuals that I deem reputable. And that's what we tend to do here too. But today it gets a little shaky because this news is from multiple people, none of them really that reliable, and we do have some counter arguments coming from different sources. So again, take everything we talk about today with a giant grain of salt, but this news of Hayden, Ewan, and Ariana coming back for Season 2 is from a reliable source. Let's keep going. Actually, sorry. It's from the same source, but it's not. Okay, we'll talk about it. The Baylan Skoll stuff was from a reliable source. This is coming from the same person that's saying Natalie Portman will be back as Padme. All right, let's talk about it. It's why I don't cover a good handful of so-called leakers due to how incorrect most of their reports turn out to be. Today, however, I'm covering an individual that I have not covered in the past or usually would, despite being a fan of their podcast work. And that comes from a few tidbits from Christian Harloff. So let's talk about Christian for a second. Christian, nothing, absolutely nothing against him. Is Christian right a lot? Yes. Is Christian wrong a lot? I wouldn't say a lot, but he is wrong a frequent amount. So the deal is here. This is all just a rumor for now. It has not been confirmed by anybody who I would deem to be a reliable source. However, has Christian been right in the past? Absolutely. So keep that in mind. Bespin Bolton is reliable AF. Yes, he is. And that's why we're reading this from him. So, in a recent live stream, Harloff revealed that he's been told that Ewan McGregor would be appearing in the second season of Ahsoka as Obi-Wan Kenobi for a Clone Wars flashback, and that he would be joined by Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker and Ariana Greenblatt as a young Ahsoka Tano. So, if you're a Star Wars fan, this is just like the greatest thing you've ever heard. Getting to see Ewan, Hayden, Ariana, Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Ahsoka in the Clone Wars in live action. So many Star Wars fans have been begging for this forever. And if you remember correctly, I'm always against this. I think the Clone Wars should remain the way that it is. However, if done correctly, you can do flashbacks to the Clone Wars. Not to retell a same story over again, but in this instance, you might have to. Let's talk about this for a second before we get into what Christian had to say. If you remember, the Mortis God arc in the Clone Wars Season 3, Ahsoka, Obi-Wan, Anakin, they go to Mortis. They meet these gods, the living embodiment of the light side, the daughter, the living embodiment of the dark side, the son, and the balance between as the father. They learn that the real Chosen One prophecy is for Anakin to take the role as the father and become the living embodiment of the balance between the light side and the dark side. We also learn, or as our characters also learn, that Anakin will become Darth Vader. We also see Ahsoka die and be brought back to the life via Anakin putting the light side of the Force, the living embodiment of the light side of the Force, into Ahsoka, making Ahsoka the living embodiment of the light side of the Force, pretty much, in my perspective, in my personal opinion. Tell me in the chat, do you think Ahsoka Tano is the living embodiment of the light side of the Force? Tell me in the chat. Okay. But with that, when they leave Mortis, when their time there is over after that 3 or 4 episode arc, I forget what it is, after that arc, they forget what happened. That whole entire thing, they forget what happened. None of them remember it. Because if they did, well, then Anakin would know that he turns into Darth Vader, and they would all know that Ahsoka died and was brought back to life. But they don't. That's the same reason that Ahsoka doesn't know that she's the living embodiment of the light. That's why she's so surprised when she sees the owl, Morai, all over the place. Because she doesn't know. She doesn't remember. And it's the same reason that this can happen. This flashback to the Mortis arc with Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Ahsoka, a exact retelling of the same exact story, can happen in live action, and I won't be mad, and I'm sure nobody else will either. Because the characters that were involved in that arc don't remember. In the audience, the people who don't watch the animated shows, the people who watch only the live action stuff, they don't know that arc either. So you have the ability here to, through the perspective of Ahsoka Tano, who doesn't remember these events, you have the ability in season 2 of Ahsoka to show the audience the Mortis arc for the people who haven't seen it yet, and show Ahsoka, who doesn't remember what happened on Mortis. And the thing is here, we're on Peridia, and we don't know what the powers on Peridia look like. Clearly, there's statues to the Mortis gods. So the people who were there on Peridia knew about the Mortis gods. They knew about them. But the people in the regular Star Wars galaxy that we know and love, they don't. Or at least, as far as we're aware, they don't. So we're going to learn quite a bit about these so-called Mortis gods, or the Ones, as they are correctly titled. But that will happen in live action. And that can warrant Ariana Greenblatt coming back as Ahsoka, Hayden Christensen coming back as Anakin, and Ewan McGregor coming back as Obi-Wan. What that doesn't warrant is Natalie Portman coming back as Padme Amidala. But we'll get to it. We'll get to Natalie Portman in a second. Let's read what Christian had to say about these three. The reason I'm covering these tidbits from Christian Harloff is because I told you the same thing from a single person a couple of weeks ago. As readers know, I will not run anything without having a second source on a story, which has cost me many times. In the effort to be first in breaking with exclusives. They want to be right before they break some exclusive that they're wrong about, which makes sense. That's usually what I tend to do. Today, we're speculating about theories. If I ever come out and say something is a fact, I know it's a fact. My tweet today on X, formerly known as Twitter, was rumor in all caps. I don't want you guys to get confused with anything that I say is a fact or is just a rumor. So I don't want to be spreading false knowledge across the Star Wars fandom because that's just not what I want to do. I don't want to be a guy who comes up here and goes, oh, this is definitely going to happen, and then looks stupid when it doesn't. So, with that being said, I've said it twice, 3, 4, 5 times already this stream. Everything we're talking about today is just a rumor for now. But Bespin says they have 2 sources, 2 reliable sources they deem reliable on this news, that Ariana Greenblatt, Hayden Christensen, and Ewan McGregor are coming back. We have yet to get to Natalie Portman. We'll get to it. Actually, I want to put up a poll in the chat while we talk about this. Let's put up a poll. Let's put up a poll, shall we? If you haven't liked this frickin' stream, I don't know what the hell you're waiting for. Get on it. But that's what this poll says, so I'm going to end this poll. Okay, let's put up a poll. Do you think Hayden, Ewan, and Ariana will be in Ahsoka Season 2? Yes or no? Will all 3 of them, not Natalie Portman, just the 3, there's the big 3. I guess they're not really the big 3, but just those 3. Do you think they will be in Ahsoka Season 2? Tell me in the chat. All right. And now let's get back to this article. So, second source, which has cost me many exclusives, but I'd rather make sure that the story is accurate rather than racing to get the story out in attempt of being first and then proven wrong later. Okay, which is the right way to do it. I can't say with any certainty whatsoever that Ewan McGregor and Greenblatt will be featured in the second season of Ahsoka. Just that a single source mentioned that it was planned to have them in a Clone Wars flashback. But I am more confident that Hayden Christensen will appear in season 2 in more of just the aforementioned flashbacks. So let's not forget, in Ahsoka season 1, the so-called flashbacks that we're referring to here via the Clone Wars, those came from the World Between Worlds. Those came from not actually flashbacks, but a lesson between a master and an apprentice, between Anakin and Ahsoka, the final lesson. So Hayden Christensen being in season 1 wasn't really a flashback as much as it was an experience through the World Between Worlds via a lesson of the upbringing of Ahsoka in the Clone Wars. So it's very, very different than getting a flashback to the Clone Wars, because that's not what it was. It was and it wasn't. Obviously, we saw the Clone Wars, but it was via the World Between Worlds. Now, I don't think, actually, I'd say I'm very, very positive we won't be seeing the World Between Worlds again in Ahsoka Season 2. And the reason I say that is because the World Between Worlds is something so rare that we're probably going to see a handful of times in our lifetime in Star Wars. Because Dave Filoni said it time and time again, it's something like Yoda's species. We're not supposed to really fully understand it, but we're supposed to know that it's important. Clearly. In Rebels, Palpatine's trying to get inside of the World Between Worlds. It's what saves Ahsoka Tano in the World Between Worlds. Ezra has the possibility to go save his master in the World Between Worlds. And then in Ahsoka, we get to see it give us flashbacks to the Clone Wars and have Anakin come back to teach his Padawan one last lesson. So the World Between Worlds is a very, very rare thing that's not supposed to be overutilized. So I would really doubt that they're going to go back to back with season 1, season 2 through the World Between Worlds. So if we're talking Clone Wars flashbacks with these 3 characters, it's going to be actual flashbacks. It's going to be a dream of some sort from Ahsoka, or almost maybe her memories being returned to her because she forgets about the Mortis arc. So maybe her memories are returned, and as they are returned, we get to see it as the audience, see the actual Mortis arc. And maybe it's not the whole entire thing, obviously, because it's 3 episodes in the Clone Wars, but maybe just the plot points, just the good pieces, just the most important spots. But Having said that, I don't think it'll be a World Between Worlds sequence as much as it will be almost a memory override, and Ahsoka somehow remembers what happened on Mortis. I don't know how. Here's the thing. Ahsoka Season 2 is so far away that we really have no idea what to expect. Is it really going to bring Abeloth to Star Wars canon? Because if so, do you know what that really means? Like, this could be insane. Abeloth is one of the most powerful characters we've ever seen in Star Wars. In Legends, at least. So to bring that character into canon and not have her just absolutely dominate, it's going to be hard to do. It's going to be hard to pull off. And with that being said, imagine this. Okay? Hear me out. Imagine this. Imagine Ahsoka Season 2. Now, it wouldn't be like the start of the show, probably be midway through. Baylan Skoll has freed Abeloth at this point. Ahsoka, Sabine, they sense it through the Force. They're like, holy crap, what happened? Something just crazy happened. Like, it's just this burst of Force energy that, like, she's freed from the prison that she was in, and then everybody knows about it because it's that crazy of an event. They go to investigate. They find Abeloth, and maybe Abeloth just, like, touches Ahsoka. Oh, how about this? Abeloth is almost like the master of disguise, like Sauron, kind of, because Sauron's like the master of illusion, you know. What if Abeloth comes to Ahsoka as Anakin and just touches her on the shoulder? And when she does, it all comes back. All those memories of the Mortis God arc comes back, and she realizes who's standing in front of her at this moment, and it is Abeloth. And she absolutely just destroys them and then goes off to the other galaxy. Okay, I'm going crazy. I'm going crazy here, chat. I'm going crazy. But I already know that Ahsoka Season 2 is going to do so much bigger, bolder things than Season 1 did. And Season 1 had a World Between Worlds arc with Anakin frickin' Skywalker. So to one-up that with Abeloth is going to be really, really difficult to do. But if anybody can do it, it's Dave Filoni. Let's get back to this article before I lose my frickin' mind. Okay. Having said that, I must stress that I am not saying that this will happen. I must stress that as well. Or that I am confident in this rumor itself, just that it is something that I've heard fairly recently. But again, I did not run this story. There's not been enough backing for my liking. Readers should take this purely as a rumor and nothing else for now. That's big. It's just a rumor for now, nothing else. Because Ahsoka hasn't even started filming yet. We got until April till it starts filming. So the negotiations are going on right now. If this is true, if they're going to Ewan, if they're going to Hayden, if they're going to Ariana, that's happening now. Because they got to be ready for filming in April. So if those conversations are going on, it's happening now. And that's probably why Christian Harloff would know about it. But again, it is just a rumor. CJ, what's up? For now. Now, even with that being said, tell me in the chat, do you think this rumor will come true? Do you think we will see a Clone Wars flashback to Hayden, Ewan, and Ariana in the roles of Anakin, Ahsoka, and Obi-Wan? Tell me in the chat. By the way, 86% of you guys right now say yes. 86% of you guys think this will happen. That's crazy. The Walking Carpet Galactic Review, great name, says this could save the franchise. Honestly, I don't think this franchise needs saving, but I will agree with you that it would be an insane thing to happen. It would be like that 5th episode, which I think is the greatest episode we've ever received from Disney or from any Star Wars shows, and that is The Shadow Warrior with the World Between Worlds. Anakin and Ahsoka, young Ahsoka in the Clone Wars, the Siege of Mandalore, the Battle of what's that? Starts with a T, not Tython, whatever it is. Those battles that we got to see in the Clone Wars flashbacks. Anakin Skywalker, the Clone Wars armor, flashes to Darth Vader. Anakin with Sith eyes and a red lightsaber. Nightfall Anakin. Ahsoka Season 2 might be the craziest thing we've ever seen. It might be. And we haven't even talked about Padme Amidala yet. We haven't even gotten to the title of this stream yet, and that is Natalie Portman is rumored to be coming back as Padme Amidala in Ahsoka Season 2. So that is just Hayden. That is just Ewan. That is just Ariana coming back as their characters. But let's talk about a character who we haven't seen since 2005, or in live action, since 2005 in Revenge of the Sith, when she died giving birth to Luke and Leia. And that is Padme Amidala. Natalie Portman hasn't portrayed this character in 20 years. Yes, that's right. This year is the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith. But she hasn't played this character in 20 years. But give me a one into the chat if you remember that. I appreciate the hearts, guys. I really do. Give me a one into the chat if you remember this. I think it was probably 8 or 9 or 10 or 11 or a year ago. I don't know. A lot of months ago. Probably 8 or 9 months ago. We got the news from Natalie Portman herself that she would love, she's not open to, she would love to come back in Star Wars. In any sort of way. As Padme Amidala. She'd love it. She would love it. Now here's the deal. We've had multiple opportunities to see Natalie Portman come back as Padme in recent past. Multiple times. The Kenobi show, obviously, it's a show about Obi-Wan and Anakin. How is Padme not involved in that story? How is Vader still not haunted by his wife? Maybe he was. Maybe because that show is just from Obi-Wan's perspective, we didn't get to see that. Maybe. Sure. Or how about an Ahsoka? We got Clone Wars flashbacks. Why didn't we saw Rex? We saw Anakin in his Clone Wars armor. We saw Ahsoka. Why didn't we see Obi-Wan? Why didn't we see Padme? There's been opportunities to get flashbacks to the Clone Wars in Obi-Wan, in Ahsoka, where we could see Padme Amidala. And we haven't yet. And fans have been begging for it. Who wouldn't want to see Natalie Portman back in Star Wars? And I think Dave Filoni's heard our message. I think he's heard the calls for Padme Amidala. And I think with Ahsoka Season 2, he's going to grant us all our wishes. All of them. But let's talk about it, shall we? But before we do, Mind of Lucas with a very generous $10 holla. Holy crap, Lucas, I appreciate that quite a bit. That's very, very generous. Says, there isn't much reason to bring those people back to Disney+. They need a big bang for the buck. That means those returning characters should be on the big screen. Interesting. I like where your head's at, bringing these characters back in a movie-level production. But they've already done it in the shows. They put millions upon millions and millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars into these Disney Plus Star Wars shows because it does get them money. It does get them viewerships. That's why they brought back Ewan and Hayden to make a Kenobi show rather than a movie. So I agree with you that I'd love to see this on the biggest screen possible, and actually they know that too. Ahsoka Episode 5 was released onto select theaters. So if you wanted to see that on the biggest screen possible, which it would have been awesome too, I didn't get to because we had a watch party, but that's okay. You can. So I know without a doubt, if this does happen, if we do get Natalie back, if we do get Hayden back, if we do get Ewan back, that episode will be on the big screen. It will be. But I agree with you. And here's why they won't do that. It's just a flashback. It's just a flashback. It's just going to be one scene. When you're talking about bringing those legacy characters back on the big screen, in this Mandoverse era, those big legacy characters are Luke, Leia, and Han. They've already brought Luke back in The Mandalorian and in the Book of Boba Fett, but Han and Leia, I think, are still coming. You're going to get a scene where Luke, Leia, and Han are on the same exact screen because the sequel trilogy failed to do so. So I think those legacy characters will be on the big screen, but these 4 or 3 will not. Yeah. But I appreciate it, Lucas. I really, really do. I really, really do. Kenobi should have been a movie. I agree with you. I like the Kenobi show for what it is. I like the rematch of the century. It's a good battle. But I think the first 4 episodes could have just been 1, and it could have been 3 episodes, and at that point, it'd probably be only about 2 hours, 2.5 hours, 3 hours. Just make it a movie, you know? We need Vader back. Vader could show up in Andor Season 2 for a little bit, but I don't know how much that would really be. Yeah. Yeah. Disney Plus wants their own characters. Yes and no. I mean, every Star Wars project you're supposed to be introducing these new characters, and a lot of them are really, really good. I mean, talk about new characters, Din Djarin and Grogu. But having said that, they do have shows like Kenobi. They do have shows like Andor, which I guess is a new character from Rogue One, but still it's a character from something else. Yeah. No worries, Rachel. What's up? Oh, Darth Plagueis lives with a very generous $5 holla. I appreciate that, Darth Plagueis. I really, really do. Says, I've been waiting for this, in all caps. I really hope it becomes a reality. Much love. Much love right back to you, Darth Plagueis. Yeah, I mean, I feel like so many people have been waiting for this. Padme is a beloved character. So let's talk about Natalie Portman's return, shall we? Oh, Kenobi's Corner is in the chat. Kenobi's Corner, shout out to you for having me on your show. I appreciate that quite a bit, Ike. If you guys have not checked that out, we had a 3.5-hour live stream on Saturday where we ranked all the Star Wars movies and Star Wars shows, and it was a blast. So, yeah, shout out to Kenobi's Corner. All right, but I appreciate that, Darth Plagueis, and let's talk about this Natalie Portman stuff, okay? So first, let's talk about the rumor. Let's talk about what it could mean, and then we're going to talk about whether it's true or not, okay? Actually, let's put up a poll in the chat before we do this, because I want to end this poll first. Because about 90% of you say yes, you want to see those 3 back in Ahsoka Season 2. And I agree with you, obviously. But let's talk Padme specifically. Do you want Natalie Portman to come back and play Padme? All right, let's just put it this way. Do you want Natalie Portman to return in Ahsoka Season 2? Yes or no? Let's see it, chat. And while you vote on that, let's talk about it. Ahsoka Season 2 rumors suggest this is becoming the ultimate prequel trilogy reunion. Look at how young they all look. That's crazy. What's even more crazy is this is Attack of the Clones characters. Is that? Yeah, they're all Attack of the Clones versions of their characters. This was 23 years ago. 23 years ago. Time flies. Okay. These Ahsoka Season 2 rumors suggest that the perfect prequel trilogy, the perfect Star Wars prequel trilogy could be on its way. Ahsoka Season 2 is one of only 2 confirmed upcoming Star Wars TV shows, again, that will likely change after Star Wars Celebration when there's going to be a ton of projects announced. But Ahsoka Season, I just read that, which has put a much bigger spotlight on this show. Already, rumors have been rampant that Hayden Christensen will be reprising his role as Anakin Skywalker in the upcoming season, as the Ahsoka finale had shown Anakin watching over Ahsoka on Peridea as a Force ghost. Let's not forget about this. This was the final scene of Ahsoka Season 1. Anakin Skywalker watching over Ahsoka as a Force ghost. We hadn't seen Anakin's Force ghost since 1983, since Return of the Jedi. And he's had plenty of times to show up and help out. And that's why a big question was brought up is why has Anakin's Force ghost not come to Luke? Like if he was this old hermit on Ahch-To, why didn't Anakin go to him? And maybe Ahsoka Season 2 will answer that. Why is Anakin able to appear as a Force ghost on Peridea? It's crazy that there's still a lot of unanswered questions about a movie that came out now 42 years ago. It's wild. But that was the final scene of Ahsoka Season 1. There were then a series of hints that Ewan McGregor and Christensen are returning to Star Wars, including Ewan McGregor mentioning donning the Clone Wars armor in recent interviews. This was about probably a month or 2 ago, where Ewan McGregor was at some sort of Comic-Con or Fan Expo or something like that, and he was talking about returning to Star Wars. Not for Kenobi Season 2, but wearing the Clone Wars armor. And he was talking about how they were in talks currently at that time at Lucasfilm. That they were hoping to not only get an Ahsoka, Kenobi Season 2, but also to be wearing that Clone Wars armor. Well, what if he wasn't referring to Kenobi Season 2 there, but Ahsoka Season 2? This has already set the stage for a brilliant reunion between those two beloved prequel heroes. Now, though, a much more shocking rumor has begun spreading. A possible return of Natalie Portman in the role of Padme Amidala in Ahsoka Season 2. All right, let's read this. Hayden and Ewan are keen to return. Of course, this was their flashback in the Kenobi series, back to before the Clone Wars. Pretty awesome. Oh, well, that was Anakin's gone. I Am What Remains. Both Hayden and Ewan have expressed their interest in returning to Star Wars. This is thrilling in both cases, but not all that surprising, especially when it comes to Hayden. Particularly in recent years, Hayden Christensen has become clear that he is always happy to do another Star Wars project. He says it all the time. He always loves to do projects in Star Wars, and he continues to express his love for Star Wars in the role for Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader. Ewan is also clearly open to returning as Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he perhaps even dropping more hints than Hayden Christensen. Hayden usually is a pretty quiet guy, but Ewan is like, I want to come back. It's the same thing that happened with Kenobi. He was the one who was begging for Kenobi season 1 to happen. He was begging for it for years and years and years. It was a movie, it was a show, it was a movie, it was a show. And he's the one who was begging about it. Yeah. More than once in recent interviews, Ewan McGregor has discussed the possibility of returning, referencing things like de-aging and Clone Wars armor, suggesting a potential plot line. Of course, that has led to speculation that Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2 could be in the works, although it was billed as a limited series. Given that, could McGregor and Christensen next on-screen team up instead be in Ahsoka Season 2 and not in Kenobi Season 2? Here's the deal, chat. Is it possible that an Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2 can be announced at Star Wars Celebration this year? Yes. I think that is very, very possible. But it was marketed as a limited series. To me, I don't see there being enough story to keep that going for multiple seasons. You had the rematch of the century. What are you going to have, the rematch of the next century? Like, it doesn't make sense. So I don't think there should be a second season of Kenobi unless there's a really, really good story to tell. But even so, you can't have Obi-Wan and Vader fight again. So I don't know. I think it's a possibility that that Kenobi Season 2 could happen or could be announced at Star Wars Celebration. But do I think it should happen? Probably not. But tell me in the chat, do you want Kenobi Season 2? Yes or no? Tell me in the chat. Okay, with that, tell me. Okay. But Natalie Portman returning would be the ultimate prequel trilogy reunion. Although Natalie Portman's returning as Padme is currently only a rumor, it is still incredibly thrilling possibility. Padme is one of the most underrated characters in Star Wars. I don't know about that. Is she really that underrated? I don't know. I think she's pretty well rated. Oh, you guys can't see what I'm reading. That would be helpful. No? God. Okay. And her influence on the Star Wars timeline has been immeasurable. Obviously, she's the mother of Luke and Leia, and, well, she's a main character of the prequel trilogy. Not only because she was Luke and Leia's mother, okay, but also because all that she did as a queen, a senator, and someone who had a hand in the earliest seeds of the Rebel Alliance, or the Rebellion. Getting to see Natalie Portman return as Padme would truly make Ahsoka Season 2 the ultimate prequel trilogy reunion. It's also important to note that they have rumored that the contrary as well, suggesting Portman is not in talks with Lucasfilm, which we'll talk about in a second, but that was probably added on after the fact. So let's talk about this. Right now, it's just a rumor that she is in talks, and again, only in talks, to return as Padme Amidala in Ahsoka Season 2. But how would this work? Chat? How does this work? If, like we mentioned before, Ewan, Hayden, Ariana coming back, that works in a Mortis God flashback. That works in the way I explained it before, where you could have Ahsoka remember what happened on Mortis because they were all their memories were wiped. So if Ahsoka remembers, then we get to see a flashback of the Mortis God arc as Ahsoka remembers, and it shows the audience. Padme's not there. So what would it be? What would it take to show Padme Amidala? Just a Clone Wars flashback? Just a random one on a random day? What's the purpose? What's the purpose? Why have Padme Amidala in this show? Von Go, what's up? We need a live-action Clone Wars series. I disagree, but I know a lot of people do want that. But what purpose does Padme Amidala being in Ahsoka Season 2 serve, chat? A flashback? But a flashback for what? You can't just have a flashback for no reason. There has to be a reason for it. It would have to be a flashback that connects to present. Not really sure what it would be, to be honest. That's the thing. Yes, Ewan coming back, Hayden coming back, Ariana coming back makes sense. Natalie Portman coming back, although it's so cool and I'd love to see it, for Ahsoka Season 2? It just doesn't make sense. And I'm sure, as you guys are assuming, I do have a way that that it works. And Jane, so far, is the only one I've seen in the chat say it. So the cliffhanger I left you guys on at the beginning of this stream, about 40 minutes ago, was where I think Padme Amidala will appear in this Ahsoka second season. Do I think this will happen? Maybe. I think it's far more likely than a Kenobi Season 2. But what if, and hear me out, what if when Ahsoka Tano meets Abeloth for the first time, Abeloth is Natalie Portman?
This is where the fun begins.
Chat. Here's why I love this theory, okay? I get it. It's insane. Abeloth will not remain Natalie Portman for the entirety of the show or for the entirety of Abeloth's run, but only to Ahsoka will she look like Natalie Portman, Padme Amidala. Here's why it makes sense, and here's why it works, and here's why it should happen. Like I mentioned before, Abeloth, so many times in Legends, conceals her identity, for lack of a better word. She pretends to be somebody that she's not. She can make herself look like anybody. So the likelihood of her making herself look like Anakin to Ahsoka is probably low because Anakin was just seen in the first season of Ahsoka. Ahsoka just saw Anakin. So I feel like it wouldn't really make much sense. Obviously, she's not going to believe that Anakin's alive, and she's not going to believe that Padme's alive either. But seeing Padme would throw Ahsoka on this crazy loop because she hasn't seen her since she died. Let's not forget, Ahsoka needs to have a connection to this character. Ahsoka needs to have some sort of anchor to who's being established here. And Padme and Ahsoka were best friends, buddies, in the Clone Wars. She even went to her funeral when she was supposed to be in hiding. It's very far out, but it's the only thing I can possibly think of that would involve Padme without it being just a useless flashback. Now again, we have no idea what the second season of Ahsoka is going to look like, but to me, it would be so unbelievably cool, trippy, and awesome if when Abeloth gets freed and Ahsoka goes face to face with her for the first time ever, first canon appearance of Abeloth in Star Wars, she looks like Natalie Portman as Padme Amidala. I understand it's probably not going to happen. I get it. I see all you guys saying that it's ridiculous in the chat. I see that, okay? I get it. But you can't deny that it wouldn't be cool as fuck. You can't deny that it wouldn't be the most badass, cool, incredible entrance for Abeloth. What if Abeloth never shows her face? If you guys don't know who Abeloth is, let me show you a picture. Abeloth. Abeloth is a droid. Oh, never mind. I thought there was a droid named Abeloth. Okay. So Abeloth looks something like this. Jump scare. Warning. Like this. Scary. I know. Creepy. I get it. Is she going to look like this the entire time? Absolutely not. No, she's not. She's going to be tricking all these different characters, looking like people that they love, that they know. She's never going to look like this. I think she'll have maybe flashes when she looks like this. You know, like a jump scare where it's like, trying to think of a Star Wars example of this, but I can't really off the top of my head. But like when she looks like somebody else, and then maybe it flashes to this for a second. Oh, like Anakin in The World Between Worlds in Ahsoka Season 1, when he's walking towards Ahsoka and it flashes from Anakin to Vader. Like that flash, it'll be like whoever she's supposed to be looking like, flash to this, and then flash back to whoever she's supposed to be looking like. I think Abeloth, if she does come into canon, if she does become the new villain, I guess, the new big bad, she will not permanently look like this. It's very, very hard to accomplish. The majority of the time, she's going to be looking like other people, probably to benefit herself. My kids would not like this. Exactly. It's Star Wars here. We're coming off the backs of Skeleton Crew, which is a kid show. Star Wars is made for 13, 14-year-old kids. That's what George Lucas always said, and it's what it intends to be. Yes, we're adults sitting here talking about it, but even still, they're not going to show us this. The Acolyte, which we have a bit of news later on in this stream about, but the Acolyte was dark. Dark as hell. Chimera is snapping people's necks. He's stabbing people through the chest. Like, it's dark. The Clone Wars, you got Maul chopping people's heads off. Like, there's some dark, dark, dark stuff in Star Wars. However, they're not going to give us a bad guy who looks like this the entire time. There's just no way. She's way too creepy. Give kids nightmares all the time. But you can give flashes of this. I get it. It sounds crazy. But nobody has given me a better place that Padme could show up in Ahsoka Season 2. Not yet, at least. And if it's not Padme Amidala, then who is Abeloth going to look like? Just some random, brand new character that doesn't even look like this? I doubt it. Some people said Shin Hati. I saw that. Shin Hati, I'd love to see Shin become Abeloth. It would be cool. She's got the white hair. She's got the creepy look to her. It would be cool. But again, she's going to look like a bunch of different people at all times. Yeah. You know what's really cool is Ahsoka came out, what, over a year and a half ago now? Wow, that's a long time ago. Ahsoka came out a long time ago now, it feels like. And we won't be getting Ahsoka Season 2 until next year. Unless something crazy happened. Yeah, no, it's next year. Next year. 2026. Which means it'll have been almost 3 years since Season 1. Since we last saw Balin, last saw Ahsoka, Sabine, Huge Wang, Shin Hati. Hopefully not Grand Admiral Thrawn, but maybe Grand Admiral Thrawn, Ezra Bridger, Harrison Dula. Depends on who shows up in the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. But it will be a while. Yeah. Mind of Lucas says, I love the speculation. Having fun with opinions and and predictions. It's all the fun because we are people that love Star Wars. Exactly. I'm not sitting here saying you're all going to agree with me that Padme Amidala is going to look like Abeloth, or Abeloth's going to look like Padme Amidala, vice versa. But it's a crazy theory. I didn't even come up with it. Honestly, I'm just regurgitating what I saw online because I love it so much. Yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting. However, with that being said, it's just a rumor for now. But do you think we'll be getting Padme Amidala in Ahsoka Season 2? Yes or no? Not do you want it. Not do you want, because do you want is the poll in the chat right now, which 82% of you say yes. Not do you want Padme. Do you think Padme will be in the show? Take all your wants and hopes and dreams out of it. Do you want Padme Amidala? Or sorry, do you think, God damn it, do you think Padme Amidala will be in Ahsoka Season 2? I love her, but not first.
Unknown caller.
What the hell? Don't call me like that during my live stream. Why is my phone connected to my PC? What the hell? Go away. That was creepy. Did you guys hear that, or was that just me? Take the call. It might have been Padme, but was it Natalie Portman calling me about this news? You heard it? It might have been Natalie Portman, Chad. It might have been Nat. Did I just hang up the phone on Lucasfilm? Were they giving me the inside scoop, Chad? It's Abeloth. Oh my God. Get me out of here, Chad. It was Abeloth? Imagine you get a knock on the door in the middle of the night and you go to answer the door. You go to see who it is. And this is on the other side. I might as well just lay down and admit defeat, take in death. But my life was long. It was fun. It was, you know, it was worth it. Yeah. Okay. I got a voicemail from the number. Should we check it? Let's see, chat. It was Dave Filoni. I'll have to text him later. He said, stop talking about this, Mike. You're getting too close to the reality of Ahsoka Season 2, and if you keep going, we're going to have to cut you off. So if the stream ends, it means we're on the right track here, chat. Abeloth is calling you for your car's extended warranty. I think so, yeah. We're getting too close to the truth, chat. That's what it is. What does Abeloth sound like? She sounds like this. But if you really want to know what she sounds like this is how liberty dies. with thunderous applause. Yeah. Okay, so getting back to this, we have an update from Star Wars Newsnet. This is their update. Okay, we'll just put it up. Update: Natalie Portman not in negotiations for Ahsoka Season 2. Update: a source told Star Wars Newsnet that the rumor shared below is not accurate. We don't have any details to add, but as of today, Natalie Portman is not in negotiations for Ahsoka Season 2. So this right here is Dude Trust Me, bro. The multiple people who've been talking about Natalie Portman being in negotiations for Ahsoka Season 2. Again, it's just a rumor. But this one is Dude Trust Me, bro. It says, the rumor we shared below is a source. A source is a weird name. Is that like a first name, source last name? I don't know. Seems a little strange to me. Another Mike who loves Star Wars says, holy Star Wars, Batman. There's a live stream right now? I guess I'm unfashionably late. Guess you are. God. Pay attention to the clock, Mike. Yeah. Yeah. Henry says, good grief. Look at this Disney shill. Appreciate it. Can't wait to see Mr. Glizzy? What? Mr. Grizzy? New video about you shills? Disney Star Wars sucks. Well, Henry, I don't know who's shitting your cereal this morning, but I hope you're having a great rest of your day. And I'm sorry you feel that way. Brandon, if you will. Okay, but having said that, this is a source that tells them that it's not true. Again, this is all just a rumor for now. Will Padme Amidala be in Ahsoka Season 2? I doubt it. But it's likely that she could show up at some point. Natalie Portman wants to come back. Here's the deal. Natalie Portman has said time and time again that she wants to come back to Star Wars. How are you going to sit there as the studio, as Lucasfilm, and say no to that? They should be writing 1,000 different ideas every day in the possibility of bringing Padme back in any sort of facet. A flashback, just one simple scene, or as something genius like her looking like Abeloth, or Abeloth looking like her in just one scene. It doesn't have to be a bring back somehow Padme return. Not bringing her back from the dead or anything like that. We're just getting one little scene, just once. Is it fan service? Probably. Who is this Henry you speak of? I don't know. Henry was having a rough day, you know. It gets to the best of us. No, Henry's fine. He's fine. He's a good guy, I'm sure. Just having an off day. You kill him with kindness, chat. Everybody has their tough days. Maybe he had shit in his cereal this morning. I would be mad too. Henry is the fifth source. Okay. But this rest of this article just goes into what we were talking about here. From Ahsoka Season 2 is bringing back a fan favorite character, according to a friend of the site, Christian Harloff. So again, going back to Christian, Natalie Portman may be close to signing a deal to return as Padme Amidala in the new season of Ahsoka Season 2. Here's the deal too. Sometimes these rumors or reports come out and they're wrong, but not completely wrong. Like maybe Natalie Amidala. Natalie Portman! Holy crap, chat. Maybe Natalie Portman is currently in talks to join back into Star Wars, but in something else. And the only thing that's wrong here is that it's in Ahsoka Season 2. So it's possible that this rumor is wrong, but not fully wrong. And maybe she's in talks to come in for, like I said, maybe Star Wars Celebration announces a Kenobi Season 2. Or maybe in some other project. I don't know where, but it's possible she could appear in something else. I don't know. You know what's really crazy? The next project for Star Wars is Andor Season 2. And we got until April 22nd, so a couple months here, until that show comes out. So we're going to talk about it quite a bit. Today, not so much. But we will be talking about it quite a bit as it gets closer and closer. We're going to be getting trailers and all that stuff. The usual breakdown for all these different shows that we do on the channel. But what's crazy is this show's about the rebellion. And like we talked about in the last article, Padme Amidala is a big part of the beginning stages of that rebellion. She is. She's always fighting against Palpatine and fighting against the Senate. And up until she dies, she's really against it. So she's starting the rebellion. She's planting the seeds of rebellion. And now we're going to watch a show in a couple months about the rebellion. Andor Season 2. In Andor, Season 1 had some flashbacks to Andor's past. And I doubt that it would happen, but what if we get a Padme flashback in Andor? It's very, very unlikely, but it is the rebellion. Yeah. Padme will not be in Andor. I don't think she will either, but I'm just saying. Just throwing it out there. Do we have a release date for Ahsoka Season 2 yet? No, we do not, Jordan. There is no release date set for Ahsoka Season 2. It's likely to be, I would guess, in late 2026, after the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. The Mandalorian and Grogu movie just finished filming last month. So that movie comes out on May 22nd, 2026. So I would guess Ahsoka Season 2 would release maybe July, August of 2026. So in about a year and a half, I would guess. Yeah. That's what I would guess. It doesn't have a release date yet. Maybe it will get one at Star Wars Celebration in a couple months, but until then, I don't think so. Did I kick Henry? No. No, I did not kick Henry. I had Brandon kick Henry. Actually, Brandon, did you even kick him? I don't know. Maybe he just left. Maybe he left under his own accord. No, Brandon deleted his message. No, we didn't kick him. We just deleted this message. I guess. I don't even know. Either way, Henry is, I guess, no longer with us. You timed him out. Okay. He put him in a timeout. Put him in a little timeout. I don't know. To me, from my perspective, I look at it this way. Henry, I got absolutely nothing against him. It happens all the time. So it's when I say Henry, I'm talking just people, haters in general. They come in, they click on a channel that says a guy who loves Star Wars. They click on a live stream full of people who are talking about their love of Star Wars. And they just want to, come in to try and put us down. It's not going to work. It's not going to work, and we'll just keep on going. You know? Yeah, he's putting a timeout. We put him in the corner. We put him in that timeout corner over there. Yeah. It's wild. It's wild. Okay, but going back to the topic at hand, the Mandalorian and Grogu movie will come out next year on May 22nd. When Ahsoka is released, I would guess is after that, but we'll see. Yeah. Why are we still talking about him? Exactly. We don't even have to give it anymore. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. But where were we? Okay, so this poll currently sits, I'm going to end it actually. This poll with over 100 votes currently sits at, do you want Natalie Portman to return in Ahsoka Season 2? 84% of you say yes. So to those 84% of you guys, which is about 84-ish people, where and how do you want to see her? To me, it seems very, very easy to give us a character like Anakin or Obi-Wan or young Ahsoka in some sort of Mortis God archetype deal. That seems easy. It works towards the show, towards the story. It's fan service, but fan service for the purpose of the show. And fan service is not always a bad thing, if done correctly. But Padme, to me, doesn't really make much sense. So how would she be there? How would she be brought in? You know? I still think it's a flashback, but a flashback for what purpose? You know? There needs to be a reason for it. Like even in Skeleton Crew, we thought we were going to get a flashback to Jod Nawood's backstory, or at least to who trained him in the Force, but that didn't happen because it wasn't necessary for the show. Now, we've seen flashbacks before. Like we said in the Kenobi series, we got a flashback to Anakin and Obi-Wan training, and the purposes of that was because it's contrasting the current state of where Obi-Wan and Anakin are now, and Obi-Wan just sort of remembering the training. But you also see flashbacks in The Mandalorian, Grogu's flashbacks to Order 66. Again, that's for the purpose of the story. I don't see a place, at least in my head, and maybe some of you do, I don't see a place where Padme could show up in a flashback that would make sense to further the story. Padme's in a flashback about Anakin's weakness. So that would infer that Anakin is teaching Ahsoka again as a Force ghost. I don't know. Maybe Ahsoka's pondering how it impacted Anakin, the death of Padme. Possibly. See, Padme is an extremely important part of Anakin's fall. Obviously, it's the reason he fell, the biggest reason at least. Padme gets her own show. That would be, I mean, what would that even be about? Yeah. Natalie Portman can come back in all the shows as far as I'm concerned. I agree, but she has to come back for a reason. There has to be a purpose for it, not just to come back. Yeah. Could just have a conversation between a young Ahsoka and Padme. Maybe, but for what purpose? Like, why? Anakin and Obi-Wan make perfect sense. Perfect. Padme, not so much. Maybe she's telling Sabine about her. Well, she can tell Sabine about her and we don't have to see her. I do like that, though. I like where you're at, where your head's at. Alex, what's up? Maybe with Abeloth, she's able to see Anakin within the Force and she is corrupting him. Padme is brought to him, is brought in to bring him back to the light. That would be wild. If we don't know the full strength of Abeloth, at least in canon, how powerful they're going to make her, we really don't know anything. Look at it this way. Here's the deal, chat. When you look at the Star Wars future right now, the Mandoverse future, you think that Thrawn has been set up to be the heir to the Empire. And that's probably going to be the case. We got Thrawn on Dathomir with Night Sisters, the remnant of the Empire, the Shadow Council talking about Thrawn's return. But we know for a fact, because the sequel trilogy happens in about 20, 25 years, that Thrawn is not there. He's not even talked about. The First Order rises to power. So Thrawn loses. We know he loses. But we never hear about Abeloth. Not in the sequel trilogy, not in any of these stories in between. We have yet to hear about Abeloth. The only thing that's referring to Abeloth is Baylan Skoll standing on that statue looking out into the distance. That's the only thing. So if Ahsoka truly is going to establish Abeloth as this massive villain, because she's a god, then where is she going to go? What's she going to do? Chat? What do we think? Is it possible that they're setting up Abeloth to be the villain of the Rey movie? Of some post-sequel world? Because she can't come... Let's put it this way. If Abeloth, a god, came into the Star Wars galaxy and just absolutely destroyed everybody, it's going to be talked about for quite some time. People aren't going to forget about that. And the sequel trilogy has zero reference to anything of that sort happening. So what do we think? Explore the Force, what's up? She's been locked up before, she can be again. Interesting. So you think, Annie K, that Ahsoka Tano is going to be the one who locks her back up? That's interesting. Because here's the deal. You had the Mortis gods keeping her prisoner. The father, the son, and the daughter keeping her prisoner, at least from the legend story, keeping her prisoner in this Force prison, or whatever you want to call it, for all those thousands and thousands and thousands of years. But the Mortis gods are all dead now. The father dies in the Mortis arc. The daughter becomes Ahsoka. and the son dies as well. Or the son die? Does the son die in the Mortis arc? I haven't watched it in so long, I don't really remember. Does the son die? Or does he just, like, get away? I don't even remember. Does he die? No, he doesn't die. No, yes. I got some yeses, I got some nos. Does he die? No, yes, no. What? He got away. He does? He dies or he doesn't die? Not dead. No, he doesn't die. Yes, he dies. Oh my God, chat, you guys are crazy. It does, all right, I gotta look it up now. I gotta look it up. Does the son die on Mortis? Let's see what Google can give me. Any Mortis god can be killed by the dagger. If the father dies, the son and the daughter lose their immortality. Ooh. And they can die like any other mortal. So after the father dies, or after the father is fatally wounded with a dagger, the son lost his immortality and was killed by Anakin regularly. Okay, so the son was killed by Anakin. For some reason, I got to rewatch. Well, me and Sam are currently, Samantha are watching through the Clone Wars. We're on season 2, so we're going to get to that Mortis arc very soon. But yeah, so I just didn't remember what happened to him. So he doesn't die. I mean, he does die. He does die. Jesus. He does die. So with that, all the Mortis gods are dead. So Abeloth is still imprisoned, but she can be freed from the prison without the Mortis gods there. So that's why she's calling out to Baylan Skoll, and Baylan Skoll seems to think that there's something that will end the cycle from the Republic to the Empire, to the New Republic, to the First Order. This never-ending cycle of power. Baylan Skoll seems to think he can end that. That's the whole gist of Ahsoka Season 1, and that's why he's there to save Abeloth. So if he can get Abeloth out of prison, whatever the prison may be, that's going to be interesting. What does a prison look like that's holding this god? And how is Baylan going to get her free? I don't know. It'll be cool. I can't wait to see. But having said that, the Mortis gods are all dead now, so they can't keep her imprisoned. However, like we talked about earlier in this stream, Ahsoka is now the living embodiment of the light side of the Force. So she, maybe not by herself, but she at least has the power to keep Abeloth somewhat contained. Maybe she needs the help of the brother and maybe the father. But guess who's also there on Peridia? Chat? Who's also there on Peridia, chat? Other than Huge Wang, of course. And Huge Wang is not going to be like, you shall not pass. No, I'm kidding. Mixing fandoms. Who else is there? Baylan Skoll? Yes, but no. Baylan's not going to be powerful enough to stop her. Baylan is there, but no. Nina Nawad is there now. Ezra? No, Ezra's gone now. Baylan's not there either. Or Baylan is there. Ahsoka. Ahsoka is the living embodiment of the daughter, but who else is there with them to stop Abeloth? Chat? This explains so much, if this is the case. Why are you assuming that Ahsoka Season 2 will lead into anything? The Mandalorian and Grogu movie comes out before Ahsoka Season 2. You might be onto something there. Sabine. Yes, Sabine is with them, but no, that's not who I'm thinking about. Sabine is not that powerful. Come on, chat. We're smarter than this. Anakin's Force Ghost. Thank you, Fearless. Anakin's Force Ghost. Thank you, Isaiah. Is that Isaiah? So, I apologize. Thank you. Anakin. Yes. Anakin's Force Ghost. Anakin was the chosen one. That's real. So whatever you think the chosen one prophecy means, the Mortis gods seem to think it meant that he was going to be the living embodiment of the light side of the Force, the Father. So now you have Ahsoka, who's the living embodiment of the light side of the Force, the daughter, and Anakin, who's the balance between. The two of them should be powerful enough to contain Abeloth back into her prison, or at least contain her to Peridia. So here's how this explains so much. Why was Anakin Skywalker's Force Ghost never seen after Return of the Jedi? Why did he not show up to Luke Skywalker on Arc 2? Why did he not help at any point in the sequel trilogy? Where's Ahsoka in the sequel trilogy? Why does Ahsoka never show up? What if it's because the two of them are currently working as Mortis gods on Peridia to keep Abeloth safe and sound in a prison away from the original Star Wars galaxy that we know and love? What do we think, chat? It makes sense. It makes sense why Ahsoka's not in the sequel trilogy. It makes sense why Anakin's Force Ghost never appears to anybody, not even his own son. Now, there is no son. There is no living embodiment of the dark side of the Force, unless that is Balin. But I doubt it. But I think Anakin and Ahsoka's power alone should be enough to contain her there. Is Dave Filoni really going to show us what the prophecy of the Chosen One turned out to be? Show us what Anakin's purpose is for now? And that is holding Abeloth a prisoner on Peridia? And is that what we want to see? It would show how powerful Anakin is even in the afterlife. The fact that he'd be able to control this mythical, incredibly powerful being. It'd be wild. It would be wild, but it would explain why not only Anakin hasn't shown up as a Force Ghost, not only Ahsoka not being in the sequel trilogy, but also Abeloth. Abeloth is not mentioned in the sequel trilogy, and she's not in the sequel trilogy. So obviously, she can't come out of Peridia alive or anything like that. That guy B, what's up? Ahsoka transcends into the Force. I don't think she has to. I think she can remain a living being. But something like that could happen, for sure. Indeed. Oh, I missed the super chat. Hang on. Jordan Reddy with a very generous $5 holla. I appreciate that. Jordan says, my thinking is that could be a force power of Abeloth, which causes Ahsoka to have a vision of her past with Padme and others. Interesting. I like that. Abeloth is able to sort of just put Ahsoka in a trance. Imagine she just puts Ahsoka in the past, just with the Force. Just puts her to sleep and puts her in a trance of where all she's dreaming about is the Clone Wars. And that's where we get to see Padme. I'd like that. I like that theory quite a bit, and I appreciate the super chat. I really, really do. Oh, the Mind of Lucas with a very generous $5 holla again, his 5th ever super chat. I appreciate that. Says, is this Mandoverse trilogy going to retcon the sequels? No. It's not. It's actually going to hopefully make the sequels better. Let's put it this way. The sequel trilogy is something very, very strange right now in the Star Wars fandom because there's fans who love it. There's absolutely fans who love it. Tell me if you're one of those fans in the chat. And there's fans who, of course, really don't like it. I'm sort of somewhere in between. I see the good aspects of it. I like The Force Awakens. But the second two movies really fall off. But that's because of the holes that are put in the story. Snoke being a Palpatine clone. Palpatine returning somehow. Luke being on Arc 2, but it not really being explained well. So I see it as this. I see the sequel trilogy as this. With time and explanations, it can be fixed, for lack of a better word. Here's the deal. You have 25 years until we get to that Force Awakens. So you can tell an entire story of Thrawn coming in as the heir to the Empire, which will be awesome and cool. You can have Luke, Leia, and Han still be the heroes that they were from the original trilogy, and that will make it so that when they pass the torch down to Rey and Finn and Poe Dameron, that will feel better because you spent more time with these characters. But you can also establish a real, true, good reason as to why Luke goes into hiding that people will like more. Because just Kylo having one bad dream, it's not going over well. And I think people will like it more if there's something going on. Like, we know for a fact that Luke's hand that gets cut off on Bespin is on Exegol and is part of what keeps Palpatine alive and what maybe creates Snoke. So if Luke finds that out and knows that his blood is being used to create Snoke and create Palpatine and bring back Palpatine, that might be enough to put him into hiding. Like, his blood is so powerful that if Palpatine or the Sith cultists get a hold of it, that everybody's dead. They can make a clone army of Lukes. Everybody's dead. So maybe that's what puts them into hiding. Maybe it's something else. I don't know. You have time to explain that. You have time to explain Palpatine returning, which they've already sort of started to do in The Mandalorian, in Ahsoka, with these Force-sensitive clones and Project Necromancer, and even in the Bad Batch with Project Necromancer on Mount Tantus. So I think, will this retcon the sequel trilogy? No. But I think it can make it a lot better for a lot of fans. A lot of fans who don't like it as much. I think it can make it a lot better. Yeah. Another Mike who loves Star Wars with a very generous $5 holla. I appreciate it, Mike. Says, Brandon saves the universe. Brandon saves the universe? Oh, by putting Abeloth in a timeout. Unlimited power. Love you guys. Thanks for all that you do. May the Force be with you. I appreciate that, Mike. And yes, Brandon will save the universe by putting Abeloth in a timeout. That's awesome. Jordan Reddy with a very generous $5 holla says, petition to have the Battle of Endor TV movie watch along one day. Well, it would have to be like a watch party like we do for Skeleton Crew and stuff. And I doubt it. I've actually never watched those things, so maybe. But I appreciate it, Jordan. I really, really do. Well, let's go back to what I was just saying, which I don't even remember now at this point. Oh, yeah, the sequel trilogy being retconned. It won't, but it will be made better, I think. It's like the Clone Wars to the prequel trilogy, and I'm a huge prequel fan, so I love the Clone Wars as well. I see that the Clone Wars made the prequels better, but I don't think the prequels needed to be better. However, there's a lot of people who really, really dislike the prequel trilogy, and those people, I think, would really, or I think they did benefit from seeing the Clone Wars, seeing Anakin's turn happen over the course of 7 seasons rather than just 2 movies. You know? Yeah. Wait, you've never seen the classic Battle of Endor? No, I've not. I've seen clips of it. Obviously, we watch clips of it on the channel, but I've not watched it from start to finish. No, neither of them, because there's 2 of them, right? Yeah, neither of them. The sequels will never be retconned. Yeah, exactly. I don't think they should either. They made billions upon billions of dollars off those movies. Some fans really, really love those movies. There's a generation of fans where that was their first experience with Star Wars, and they love those characters. So I don't think it should be retconned. I think it should be added to make it better. Just like the Clone Wars adds to the prequel trilogy, it makes it better. Just like Rogue One adds to the original trilogy. I think the original trilogy is perfect. However, there's a big question at the start of the movie. Well, I guess 2 big questions. One being, how did they get the plans for the Death Star? And Rogue One fixes that, or at least makes it better. It makes it awesome. It makes it this incredible movie that we got added onto it. The other question is, when was the last time that Vader and Obi-Wan met? Because when Vader senses Obi-Wan, he says, oh, fuck, what does he say? He says, what does Vader say when he senses Obi-Wan in The New Hope, chat? I forget what he says specifically, but he says, it's been, I haven't sensed that since, and then he walks away, leaving it open-ended. And of course, that open-endedness gives us the rematch of the century in the Kenobi series. Oh, and he also says, when we last met, I was but the learner, now I am the master. Yeah. Indeed. Rogue One makes the original trilogy even better, and Andor makes Rogue One even better. Exactly. So you're talking about 40-year-old projects, A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, being made better by movies and shows that are coming out now. Think about that. Rogue One makes the original trilogy better. Andor makes the original trilogy better. The Clone Wars makes this prequel trilogy better. Tales of the Jedi makes the prequel trilogy better. So the sequel trilogy doesn't have that yet. And I think it's going to start to, honestly. Well, I think it already kind of does. I mean, the Mandalorian does have aspects that hint towards Snoke and the First Order coming. But right now, you have the original trilogy having other projects that make it better. You have the prequel trilogy having the same, but the sequel trilogy does not. And it's the trilogy, I think, personally, that needs it the most. Yeah. Indeed. You're only the only a master of evil doth. Yeah, well, that's pretty cool too. The Kenobi show does a lot of things really, really well, and one of them is that in the original trilogy, Obi-Wan calls Darth Vader Darth, not Anakin. But Obi-Wan in the prequel trilogy and throughout the first sort of 6 or 5.5 episodes of Kenobi calls Anakin Anakin, as he usually did throughout the prequel trilogy and all that. But it's not until the rematch of the century is over and they have that incredibly emotional scene. One of the most. Here's the deal: the Kenobi show. Say what you will about it, whether you like it or not. That is one of the greatest scenes in Star Wars. Period. End of sentence. Not in Disney Star Wars. Not in Disney Plus Star Wars shows. Not in specific. Insert specific title here. No. All of Star Wars ever. One of the greatest scenes ever. Period. And in that scene, we get to see that transition from when he calls him Anakin and he says, Anakin's gone, I'm what remains. And then when he talks to him again, he calls him Darth. And that's the switch. Just like that. Anakin's gone. He doesn't see Anakin anymore. He sees Darth Vader, only a master of evil, Darth. And that's the switch. And that's necessary. Yeah. True. The best scene in Kenobi is the dialogue after Obi-Wan cuts his helmet open. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. That scene is so good. I might actually just go watch it, just that one scene after this live stream. But Jordan with the very generous $2 holla says, could we do a watch along of a film then? Well, we could do a watch party, but we can't watch. I can't show you guys anything because I'll get copy struck. Yeah. Yeah. But I appreciate it. Okay. But where was I? UV Clips, UV Clips, what's up, says, what if the shining light that Balin saw wasn't Abeloth or the Bendu, but instead it was an ancient Dothamiri mother, like an old Daka or Mother Talzin? Not them, but somebody like them. Someone that scared the other 3 witches. Interesting. I never really thought about that. What if it's not Abeloth over there? I don't know. I feel like it has to be Abeloth, but that it's a possibility that it's not. You're absolutely right. It's a possibility. I don't know. Here's the deal. It's made very clear in Ahsoka Season 1 that Thrawn and those Night Sisters are running from something. Even Balin and Shin are talking about it when they're looking for Sabine. They're running from something. They know that there's a power on Peridia that they're scared of. So Thrawn takes his army, takes his Night Sisters, and gets the hell out of there as soon as possible. I know it took 11 years, but as soon as possible. So, what is he scared of? What is Thrawn, the Grand Admiral, scared of? I think Abeloth. Yeah. I mean, those Night Sisters, the Great Mothers, were pretty powerful. So I feel like if it was another Night Sister, I feel like they could handle that. But Abeloth is a god. I mean, Abeloth is that powerful. She's that good. You know what else Thrawn was scared of? Anakin Skywalker. So Thrawn is scared of Abeloth as he runs away, but he's also scared of Anakin Skywalker because he's the chosen one and powerful as fuck. Another sort of look towards it. Yeah. You're not doing something right if you don't get copy struck every once in a while. Oh, we do. We do. When we watch trailers for stuff and certain interviews or whatever, we get copy struck on the channel. I either have to cut it out of the live stream or do whatever. But I'm definitely not watching an entire movie on the screen. Thrawn was also scared of the Bendu, too. That's true. He was scared of the Bendu. That's also true. Yeah. How is Ahsoka going to get back? I don't think she will, West. I don't think she will. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, throw some respect on Thrawn's name, the Big Blue Meanie. Hey, I think Thrawn is going to be a great villain for this Mandoverse era, but he's not. He doesn't have the Force. He doesn't have a lightsaber. He's not that big of a threat like Palpatine was. His mind gets him very far, and I love Thrawn, but he would be scared of Abeloth, and I would be too. Absolutely would be too. Yeah. Yeah. For sure. Best scene is when old man Kenobi kills Darth Maul with one strike. It's so emotional. It is, and it's a great scene. But I've seen so many fans hate that scene because it's so quick. It's just one slice like that. They're like, it should have been this epic lightsaber duel on Tat. No, I agree with you. It's great. Actually, on the live stream we had on Saturday night, we talked about this. What is the chosen one? Is Anakin really the chosen one? Because in that scene, when Obi-Wan slices Maul down, he realizes that Obi-Wan is here protecting somebody, protecting Luke, but protecting somebody. And he says, is he the chosen one? And Obi-Wan says, yes, he is. Inferring that Luke is the chosen one. But isn't it Anakin? We went on this crazy rabbit hole of who is the chosen one and what does the chosen one mean. But the chosen one prophecy is all just made up by the Jedi anyway, but it's also the Mortis God arc because when they go to Mortis, he realizes that the chosen one prophecy is that he's supposed to become the father of the Force, and oh my God, it's crazy. Yeah. Yeah. Rebel Sith says, hopefully we get to see some more exploration of the Peridia galaxy. I wonder if how many more planets they have. Well, I'm sure it's like another complete galaxy. There's plenty of planets. But I don't think we'll be leaving this one. I'd be surprised. Yeah. Hopefully they flesh out the Chiss and Thrawn's motivations. I agree with that. I don't know when they would do that, but I agree. I think they need to. It's like Thanos. You got to make him personable. You got to make him relatable in a way. Like Thanos in the comics is this like god. He's a god. And you can't really relate to that. He's got these glowing eyes. He's got this massive helmet on. And honestly, I watched a video on this recently. Actually, when you first see Thanos at the end of Avengers, and he says, "Fine, I'll do it myself." He grabs the gauntlet. He looks completely different than when you see him in Infinity War. And the reason is they make him in Infinity War look like Josh Brolin, look like a human, so that you draw more connection to him. He doesn't have the glowing eyes. He doesn't have the helmet on. You know that that's the character. You know that he's a mad titan, but you draw a connection to him like he's a human being. And that's what needs to happen here with Thrawn. You got to know his motivations. You got to know that he's trying to save his people. Yeah. Absolutely. Chiss, I meant Chiss. Wait, what? You said Chiss twice. Oh, did you say Chris the first time? Funny. Oh, Chips. You said Chips. Oh, even better. Yeah. Yeah. True. George Lucas has said multiple times that Anakin is the chosen one, and he did fulfill the prophecy. That's true. I'll grant you that. But it doesn't change what we just talked about. The prophecy is something created by the Jedi Order. But also the prophecy is something created by the Mortis gods. And not George Lucas. Actually, George Lucas was heavily involved in the creation of Star Wars Rebels, but I'm sure he wasn't involved in this episode. But George Lucas's apprentice, Dave Filoni, seems to think it's Luke Skywalker. I don't know. It would be cool to see the reveal of the Grisk from Peridia. Seems likely. I would love to see that. A new species, a new dominant species in a different galaxy would be really cool. The Vong or the Grisk, like either or would be great. But usually they're in the unknown regions. It's not that they're in a different galaxy. And it's very, very hard to go from one galaxy to the other. So I don't know. I'm not quite sure. Yeah. All right, but let's keep going here because we got some other news to get to revolving the Mandalorian and Grogu because that's obviously the next project before Ahsoka season 2. So let's talk about that because we got some news about our favorite Sigourney Weaver. Sigourney. Chat. Give me a 1 into the chat if you were there for the Sigourney Weaver live stream. When I couldn't figure out how to say this person's freaking name. We had to Google translate it and do all this stuff. Rose, what's up? Anybody remember that live stream? Oh, what is in my cup? I don't know. I'm not drinking that again. Can I get some good cups full of orders in the chat, please? Ba-ba. Okay. Let's read this article, shall we? The Mandalorian and Grogu's Sigourney Weaver has a small role. Also, Peter Ramsey was second unit for directors. That's pretty cool. Peter Ramsey. Actually, wait. Thinking of the wrong guy, I think. Hang on. Who's Peter Ramsey? What did Peter Ramsey direct? What did Peter Ramsey direct? Oh, no, I was right. Into the Spider-Verse movie. Huh. Oh, he did an episode of Ahsoka or Mandalorian. That's why I know the name. Ahsoka or the Mandalorian. I forget which one. But, yes, Peter Ramsey. Okay. Let's get back to this. So, of the very little cast that we know of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie, we know, of course, Pedro Pascal's coming back as Din Djarin. Shocker. Grogu's coming back as Grogu. Shocker. But Sigourney Weaver, who's a massive actress for her roles in, now in Avatar, but in Alien, that's where she kind of made her big break, just to put it lightly. She's been in a lot of things. Most recently, the Avatar movies, but yeah, she's a big-time actress, but she's going to be in a small role. The other actor that we know is coming to the Mandalorian and Grogu movie is Jeremy Allen White, who's from The Bear, and he's playing Stinky the Hutt. So we have a very short list of cast when it comes to this Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Will Tamara Morrison be in it as Boba Fett? I don't know. Will Katie Sackhoff be in it as Bo-Katan? I don't know. Will any of these Ahsoka characters show up in it? I don't know. Will Lars Mikkelsen be in it as Grand Admiral Thrawn? I don't even know. I don't know. Because the new report is that Embo is going to be the main villain, and Stinky the Hutt is supposed to be being saved by Din and Grogu, which is the exact plot of the Clone Wars movie, and it still is weird to me. But having said that, let's talk about this. Oh, and Ghostbusters, of course. Yes, of course. Hollywood insider Jeff Snyder has given new rumors on the information that he heard about the Mandalorian and Grogu movie on this Hot Mic podcast. All right, let's read this. Star Wars was not a main talking point for this podcast on January 16th. However, after listeners submitted questions about asking for more Star Wars info, Snyder stated that Sigourney Weaver, her character name is Bishop. Interesting. And that she is a colonel in the New Republic. Wow. She's going to be a good guy of the New Republic, a colonel, and her name is Bishop. Pretty cool. And that starts at the 1 hour, 21 minute mark. We can watch it in a second. But he also added that Weaver is only in the movie for a few scenes. Weird to bring in such a big-time actress for only a few scenes, but we'll see. After hearing this, likens it to Carrie-Anne Moss in The Acolyte. But to switch, Snyder doesn't deny the comparison, in which he doesn't deny the comparison. Carrie-Anne Moss was a small role in The Acolyte. She obviously dies in the first episode. But there are 2 episodes after that where the entirety of the episodes are flashbacks, and she's in the entirety of those episodes. So Carrie-Anne Moss's role in The Acolyte is not just a few scenes. It's a lot more than that. But the name Bishop is also interesting, considering the name of Lance Henriksen's character in Alien. There you go. Is Bishop. Bishop is an android in the film. Sorry. At first, Sigourney Weaver's character, Ripley, is what? Oh, character is antagonistic to Bishop after the last android she worked with, so on and so forth about Alien. But we're talking about Mandalorian Grogu movie. It's unknown if this means the name, if there is a meaning, Jesus Christ, Chad, to the character's name, if any. Is it simply just a nod to Alien? Maybe. Does her character have some mysterious alliances? Maybe. I mean, maybe there's spies in the First Order. I mean, spies from the remnant of the Empire in the New Republic. Possibly. We don't know yet, of course. So there's Bishop from Alien. In addition, Snyder also revealed that Jon Favreau contracted COVID-19 during the production and had to direct a few scenes remotely. And to help him had Dave Filoni as first assistant director, Kim Richards, and someone we didn't know was working on the movie, second unit director Peter Ramsey. Ahsoka. It was an episode of Ahsoka. There you go. But he also directed Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. There you go. Recently, yeah, we talked about the Embo being the villain of the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. I don't know, chat. We'll see. But there's likely to be a trailer released at Star Wars Celebration that happens April 18th to April 20th. So pretty strange, honestly. I thought that Sigourney Weaver, because she's such a big-time actress, would have had a bigger role in this movie. But I guess only time will tell. Maybe Bishop, they're mistaken, has a bigger role. Maybe she's a spy for the Empire, for Thrawn. It's possible. Charlie says, "You know everything, Mike." No, I definitely don't. Definitely do not. Yeah. Sigourney Weaver is a bad attempt at filling the void of Gina Carano. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Jack Black style cameo? Oh, like Jack Black in The Mandalorian Season 3? I hope it's bigger than that. I hope it has more purpose than that, at least. Yeah. True. She could have some mods like KB, Colonel Bishop, but could end up betraying them. Nice. Yeah, she could have some sort of double cross type thing towards the end. That'd be cool. I'd like that. But it does prove to us that we're getting sort of some New Republic stuff in this Mandalorian Grogu movie. Oh my God, Jordan with a very generous $25 holla. Holy crap, Jordan. I appreciate that quite a bit. Says, I'm a big fan of Andor and really looking forward to it. Can we have a Kino Loy impression, please? Oh, yeah, you can get that for $25. But I appreciate it, Jordan. I really, really do. Well, Andor Season 2, there's not much news on it today. I wanted to get to this other stuff about Ahsoka Season 2 first. But it is the next Star Wars project. So we're going to be spending so much time predicting and speculating and watching trailers and all this stuff. I'm guessing it's going to be an Andor Season 2 trailer, maybe for like the Super Bowl, because they tend to do that with Marvel or Marvel projects. Maybe they'll do it with Star Wars too. But a teaser trailer must be coming soon because there hasn't been anything officially released for Andor Season 2. So I feel like there has to be something coming soon. But yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see. You know what line I'm going to do for Kino Loy? The one, the only.
Hayden! What's wrong? Can't swim. What? What did he say? Can't swim.
Devastating. All right, chat. Do you think Kino Loy will show up in Andor Season 2? Tell me in the chat. Okay. Star Wars Celebration, maybe. I feel like we'll get a trailer before we'll definitely get a trailer before Star Wars Celebration because Star Wars Celebration takes place a couple days before. Yeah. So I really doubt it. Let's go back here.
Can't swim.
I can't. He's got that can't, you know? I can't swim. I can't swim. I just recently rewatched the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy. By the way, if you haven't watched that in a while or you've never watched that at all, you should go watch it. But him as Gollum in those movies is so good. And you just look at like the drastic differences of all the characters that he's done, from obviously Kino Loy to even Snoke in Star Wars to Gollum in Lord of the Rings. It's wild. It's pretty wild. But yeah, him as Gollum is awesome. But he can't swim. He can't swim. Yeah. But having said that, do you think that Kino Loy will show up in Andor Season 2? Do the entire Kino Loy speech? No. It's like 5 minutes long. I don't think so. But he can't swim. No, he can't. Yeah. What if I just came on Mr. Slash, that's hilarious. What if he just came on? What if I just came on? Sorry. I came on a live stream once and was just speaking in a completely different accent. Like nothing ever happened. Would you guys notice? would you guys notice? Star Wars Jedi podcast, what's up? Another really good Star Wars scene is when the old lady passes in Andor season 1 and she gives a great speech. It is a great scene. For sure. And tells them to fight. I actually just rewatched that pretty recently. Starts speaking in Huttese. Probably not. That would be me learning an entirely new language. I just meant a different accent. I'm not going to come out here and be like, oh, 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 oh. Yeah. But that's a little of the Mandalorian and Grogu news. Feel like stuff has to be, like, they kept it so silent during the entire filming process of that movie. Nothing got out. They're keeping so many secrets when it comes to that movie. So I feel like as time goes on here, as we get closer to specifically Star Wars Celebration, we'll get a lot of information about this Mandalorian and Grogu movie. Yeah. For sure. Oh, yeah, let's talk about this. I want to talk about Skeleton Crew a little bit here before we get too far removed from it. Huttese, please. Well, I just gave you my Huttese, Jordan. Ho, 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 ho. Ho, 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 ho. I don't even know. What else you say? Oh, da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. It's funny because other people speak Huttese in Star Wars, but whenever you think Huttese, you just think of Jabba the Hutt. So you're like, ho, 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 ho. Okay, but where was I? Let's talk Skeleton Crew for a sec. So we talked about this on Saturday's stream, but I want to bring it up again. There was a deleted scene about a flashback to Jod's past that got scrapped. Now, it wasn't Nina Nawood, or even if it was the character's name, Nina Nawood, it wasn't Haley Webb, so we were lied to, or I was lied to, sorry, about that. But Haley Webb was not ever going to be in the show. However, an actress by the name of Yasmin was supposed to be in the Skeleton Crew, and her scene was deleted. She was supposed to play a Jedi, the Jedi who found Jod and trained Jod and was killed in front of Jod. But does this mean that there was once a scene with an Inquisitor killing this character? Possibly. And the scene was shot. She does mention in her post that this was the shortest acting job that I've ever done, but the most meaningful one to the child in me, playing a Jedi in one scene in the Skeleton Crew. Gave a speech. What? Oh, yeah. The scene unfortunately didn't make it in the finale. Make it to the final cut. Because things happen. Okay. There you go. So it didn't make it to the final cut. But that does mean that it was filmed. That does mean it was filmed, chat. So that means she was probably brutally murdered by a Inquisitor. Or somebody. Maybe stormtroopers, I don't know. That'd be kind of crazy. Mr. Slash says Nina Nawood is gone from the cast again on Google. Oh, let's check it out. Skeleton Crew cast. You are correct. Jedi Nina Nawood is now no longer here in the cast on Google. Funny how stuff like that happens. This is the story of always go with your gut, chat. When people started coming to me saying that this character exists, even though it only exists on Google Cast, I was like, no. But you had to talk about it because it was here. I mean, you had to be like, is this possibility? Probably. Yeah. Okay, but where was I? Oh, yeah, so the deleted scene. There's something else I want to talk about with Skeleton Crew. Where was it? Oh, yeah, here we go. Yeah, so this is Skeleton Crew thing. I want you guys to watch this and give me your honest opinion here. Okay? So this is pretty cool. This is the cast of the Skeleton Crew doing this little thing, you know. Let's watch it. Let's watch it. So it's called Retro or Star Wars, and they're going to be shown things, and they're going to say whether it's retro or Star Wars.
Guys, right here, right now, spin back here.
What?
Is that a mint?
A mint. I'm gonna say retro.
I'm gonna say retro.
Retro? What? Oh, that's definitely Star Wars. That's Star Wars.
Yeah.
Come on,
That's a
dude.
computer.
It's absolutely a phone. It has to be a phone.
Oh, it has to be retro.
Yeah. I'm gonna go Star Wars.
I'm going Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Star Wars.
Yes,
That's
that's
retro.
definitely real. That's retro.
I knew it. That might be like a drive or something.
I think Star Wars. I
I
think
think it's Star Wars.
I think it might be real. Wait, okay, we got that. Okay, what do you think? What do you think? What do you think?
Star Wars.
What do you
I think
think?
Star Wars.
I think retro, so.
Oh, God. Rock, paper, scissors, shit. We're going Star Wars. We're so good at this game.
Honestly, gotta say, we're gonna miss this show quite a bit. These kids are awesome, and even the kid who plays Neil under the mask, he's still the GOAT.
Guys.
But it is funny to me because this is such a feel-good video. It's retro versus Star Wars. They even at the end get one wrong. Crazy. If this show was crapped on, if this show was hated as much as it was like The Acolyte or anything else, do you imagine how much hate this would have received? Imagine. This is just kids being awesome, playing a fun game. But they got one wrong, and it would have been a disaster. They don't know Star Wars. They don't know Star Wars. But having said that, this is pretty fun. So the kids are awesome. Hopefully we get to see more of them. Maybe a season 2 of Skeleton Crew, but not even that. Maybe in something else. Maybe some Mando project or in anything, honestly. These kids could show up anywhere. Atten is going to be a very important piece of the puzzle when it comes to Thrawn taking over the galaxy, I do believe. I do. Okay. There was something else I wanted to get to. Oh, Acolyte news-wise. Yeah. So, of course, the Acolyte Season 2 is canceled. There's a lot of people who wanted to see it and a lot of people who are still fans of the show. And there is some news regarding the next story being told in the Acolyte era, and that is a prequel novel about Venestra Rose and Master Indara, so Carrie-Anne Moss's character. And that is called The Acolyte Way Seeker. And this is the cover of that book. And it comes out, I believe... Actually, I don't know when this comes out. Hang on, let me look it up. Let me look it up, Jet. Does anybody know when this comes out? When does The Acolyte Way Seeker release? May 6th. Okay, so May 6th this year is when we will get this book, and here is the official description. Oh, you guys can't see the top of that. Decades before Star Wars The Acolyte, so a long time before, a couple decades at least, before The Acolyte, Venestra Rose must rediscover her place within the Jedi Order. Jedi Master Venestra Rose has spent years exploring the Outer Rim as a Wayseeker, answering to no authority but the Force itself. When the Jedi Council orders her to return to Coruscant, Venestra ignores the summon, feeling that her priority is the beings she's already serving. So the Council dispatches Jedi Knight Indara, Master Indara from the Acolyte, to track down Venestra to deliver the urgent message from a Republic senator who has formally requested Jedi assistance, asking for Venestra's aid by name. Intrigued, Venestra quickly finds herself pulled back into Coruscant's complicated world and Republic politics and the underworld crime. What does this sound like to you, Chad? What does this sound like to you? I'd like a spinoff of Chimera and Plagueis. Me too. A Darth Plagueis show would be epic. That'd be epic. What does it sound like to you? Kenobi Season 1? I guess a little bit, but no. To me, it's the Clone Wars. This sounds like an arc straight out of the Clone Wars. Getting called back to Coruscant, some senator is in trouble, something happens, you're back in the underworld of Star Wars, you're back in the Republic, politics of it all. That's what it sounds like to me. So what's going on here is it's the High Republic era. the Republic doesn't really have an outreach to the Outer Rim yet. So they have these Jedi who are almost, like they say here, way seekers. They're people who are protecting the people of the Outer Rim. And they're not really controlled by the people on Coruscant, the Republic, or even the Jedi Order. They're just people who protect the people out there in the Outer Rim. So that's where Vanestra's at this current time. And she's being called back home to Coruscant. But she's being called specifically as she was requested by name by this Republic senator. So who that Republic senator is, I don't know. Why she was requested by name, I don't know. But it sounds like a cool story. It's an intriguing synopsis to me, that's for sure. Yeah. That's what I like to hear. But this doesn't come out till May 6th, so you got time to figure out if you'll be getting that or not. All right. And with that, obviously we talked about all the Padme Amidala stuff, the Hayden, Ewan, Ariana all coming back. We talked about it quite a bit. We speculated about it, but I do have to get on out of here. We're hitting almost the 2-hour mark. We got some stuff to talk about, of course, on Thursday. From here on out until I say otherwise, we will still be sticking to the Monday, Thursday, Saturday schedule. It just works better for my schedule right now. Maybe it will go back to Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday soon, but right now it's Monday, Thursday, Saturday. So watch out for a live stream on Thursday, not any other day, I guess. And watch out for videos and live streams, videos and shorts, I should say, on the channel as well. Smash a freaking like on the stream if you have not already. Hit that subscribe and hit that bell so you're notified every time I post a video. And my pretty face will show up the recommended feed of yours. Let me, how many likes we got, Chad? 110. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. All right. Huge shout outs to Jordan Rennie for the very generous super chats. Another Mike who loves Star Wars. Mine of Lucas. Darth Plagueis lives. I appreciate all the very generous super chats. I really, 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 really do. But yeah. So until then, we got some stuff to talk about on Thursday already, from Andor Season 2 to what's coming on Star Wars Celebration. There's a lot that we got to talk about. The Mandalorian and Grogu movie does have its main villain, so to speak, and we haven't really talked about it much, so I want to give my 2 cents on that. But yeah, do you think they'll make more High Republic content after post-2025? Yes, I do. Absolutely. Yeah. But until then, smash a freaking like on the stream if you have not already. And may the Force be with you. Always. Oh, yeah. What a great stream. What a great show. You guys are the absolute best. I appreciate you all so much more than you will ever know. See you in the Discord. Yeah, if you guys are not yet in the Discord, there's a link in the description below to a Discord called The People Who Love Star Wars. Go join it immediately. But yeah, until then, hope you have a great rest of your evening, great rest of your lives, and good night, everybody.